Hello everybody, and welcome to my video series on how to play Pokemon. In this segment, we're going to focus on base stats and how they affect a Pokemon in battle. While you don't need to pull out a calculator and start crunching numbers in order to understand how Pokemon works, stats are important to know, and understanding the basics of how damage is calculated will put you above a lot of other trainers. There are currently 6 base stats in Pokemon: HP, Attack, Defense, Special Attack, Special Defense, and Speed. HP stands for hit points and determines how much health your Pokemon has and therefore how long it takes for that Pokemon to faint. Speed determines which Pokemon gets the first move. Pokemon with higher speed stats will move first and therefore have a much bigger advantage over slower Pokemon. If you're wondering how Quick Attack works and why some moves always go first or last, that's called priority, and I'll be covering that in a later video. Attack, Defense, Special Attack, and Special Defense are all related to damage and resilience. Attack and Defense both go hand in hand, as do Special Attack and Special Defense. Conveniently placed history lesson. In Generation 1, Attack and Defense existed separately, but Special Attack and Special Defense were originally one combined stat, simply called Special. Pokemon that had high specials such as Alakazam, Gengar, and Chansey could dish out loads of special damage while being able to sponge it all the same. As she stands currently, it would seem that Chansey was by no means meant to be an offensive Pokemon, but rather a defensive one. However, because there didn't exist 2 separate stats, there was no way to distinguish this, and this led to some balancing issues. Thus, in Generation 2, the special stat was replaced by both Special Attack and Special Defense. So now here we are, 4 separate stats. Moves that require something to make physical contact with the other Pokemon use Attack to calculate damage, and Pokemon defending against this type of attack use Defense to soften the blow. On the flip side, moves that take use of an element, wave, or beam of some sort to inflict damage utilize the Special Attack stat, and Pokemon defending against this type of attack can take advantage of Special Defense to shield against it. Now let me read your mind real quick. How do I know which attacks are physical and which ones are special? This is where damage categories come into play. Join me next time and I'll tell you all about them.